Shalom Aleichem, welcome to Chabad and Friends. In conjunction with my newly released book, Torah, Vodaas, and Lubavitch, I'd like to share a story with one of the Magidei Shiurim, one of the staff members of Torah Vodaas, Rabbi Yaakov Moshe Laizerson, who was first a Litvak and then became an ardent chassid of the Lubavitch Rebbe. Rabbi Laizerson was actually born in Poland to parents and family who belonged to the Ger movement, Ger Hasidim. But for whatever reason, he was sent to Baranovitch to learn by Rabbi Elchonon Wasserman, and he was educated in the Litvish way, and then he learned in Mir in Poland. When the war broke out, he, together with the Mir students, found refuge in Shanghai. We've discussed the Shanghai yeshiva, the Chabad yeshiva, and as well as the Mir yeshiva in past episodes. This Rabbi Laizerson was a chavrusa of a very great Talmud Chacham who became later the Rosh Yeshiva of Mir in Yerushalayim, Rabbi Nochum Baranovitch, whose son-in-law, Rabbi Arieli, is today the most popular Rosh Yeshiva there. Rabbi Laizerson, how did he come to Lubavitch? So I heard this from Rabbi Yosef Rosenfeld, who was the one who actually brought him to Chabad when Rabbi Rosenfeld was just 15 or 16. It was in 1965 or so. Rabbi Laizerson was living in Borough Park. Rabbi Rosenfeld's grandfather was Rabbi Elio Simpson, the Rav of the Lubavitch Shul, which we've also discussed in past episodes. He was a Talmud and a Laizer by the Rebbe Rashab, the fifth Lubavitch Rebbe, and the Yechidas Gabbai of the Friedeker Rebbe, and Howard Rebbe's secretary, and as well. And Yosef Rosenfeld was a yeshiva student in Lubavitch Yeshiva in Bedford and Dean. His mashpia at the time was Rabbi Yoel Khan, teaching him Chassidus, teaching him Tanya. And he got to talking with Rabbi Laizerson, and he also, Rabbi Yosef Rosenfeld, would review the Rebbe's Fabrengen Siches between Mincha and Ma'ariv Shalosh Shudas time. And Rabbi Laizerson heard it, and he really enjoyed it. So he asked Rabbi Yosef Rosenfeld, "Can you learn with me Sichos of the Rebbe?" He said, "Sure." So every Friday night, Yosef Rosenfeld, after he finished his Suda, he would go to Rabbi Laizerson's home on 47th Street, between 17th and 18th Avenue, and he would learn the Rebbe Sichos with Rabbi Laizerson, and he also would learn with him Tanya, things that he learned by Rabbi Yoel that week, or he shared with him. And this made a very big impact on him. And Rabbi Laizerson started to walk with Yosef Rosenfeld, Shabbos Mevorchim, and other Shabboses to the Rebbe's Fabrengens, back and forth from Borough Park to Crown Heights and Crown Heights to Borough Park, between an hour and a half each way. And they would speak Torah, and it was very pleasurable. Once, as Rabbi Laizerson got to see and hear the Rebbe, he became, he decided he wants to be a Lubavitcher, and he wasn't bashful about it. And he decided that he asked a bracha for a Fur Shalema for one of his contemporary Magidei Shiurim at Torah Vodaas to the Rebbe. This was, I believe, when he gave a pidyon nefesh to the Rebbe Erev Rosh Hashanah, and the Rebbe gave a bracha. Then he came back, Maitzoi Simchas Torah for Koshel Bracha, and he said to himself, if the Rebbe will remember and say something to me, I'm all his. If not, okay, he's a great tzaddik, a great Talmud Chochem. And as he goes by the Rebbe stops him, gives him a bottle of vodka. The Rebbe would give to Rabbonim and community leaders, Askonim. And the Rebbe said, Vos macht jener and jener? How is that person feeling? The one you asked me about, Erev Rosh Hashanah. And when he saw that and he heard that, he said, if the Rebbe could think about a Yid during the month of Tishrei, when he's so busy with leading the Lubavitch community and the world through the tefillas and the farbrengens, and he has this person in mind who I just mentioned his name one time, this is very special. And then in 1970, Rabbi Laizerson went to Eretz Yisrael, and he met his Rabbi Nochum Baranovitch and other friends from the Mir Yeshiva, and Lichtenstein, Rabbi Lichtenstein, who was a grandson of Rabbi, whose father was a Rosh Yeshiva in Kamenetz in Yerushalayim. He already became a Lubavitcher. He grew up as a Litvak, but he became a Chabad Chassid. And he made he took 10 Bacharim, Chassidish Bacharim, Litvish Bacharim, and he brought them to the apartment in where Rabbi Laizerson was staying, and made a private farbrengen there. And he told me that the 10 Bacharim that came were very impacted, because Rabbi Laizerson spoke about the Rebbe's godless and learning and his tzidkis and his holiness. And this was before Rabbi Lichtenstein's father even knew that his own son was a Lubavitch. So this was done clandestinely and privately on Rehov Tzfanya in Yerushalayim, across what was called at the time the Tzfanya Hotel. So this Rabbi Laizerson became such a Lubavitcher Chassid that his passing was on Yutes Kislev, and he was zeichet to be buried in the Oyel Skusa Yogin Aleinu.